Welcome back, guys, to another very hot day. I think we're pushing something like 110, but show must go on. I mean, I've been kind of sitting, waiting for cooler days to come around so I could come out here and continue on this thing. Uh, I have had a chance to read a lot of you guys' messages, all of them actually, the comments on the videos. Do appreciate all the positive feedback. Uh, But one thing that I kind of always stand by is plan your work and work your plan. So I thought I had everything figured out, and unfortunately, I forgot a very important step. And now I'm going to have to figure a way to make it happen. So let me grab the camera, show you what I'm talking about, and we'll figure it out together. So let's check it out. So, quick recap. We were working on the front for the new guys that haven't been following the build. We finished up the the hood hinges with the shocks. We finished that up. That came out really nice. I really like those. I have ordered all these brand new. They come in tomorrow. It has all the little rubber pieces in there, so that'll be done. That should be great. I installed this guy yesterday. It's just simple. Screw the little brackets in and put that in, but I mean it's the little things sometimes, you know. So that's your reservoir tank for or reservoir. There you go. Your reservoir for your radiator. The one that I had before was mounted here, but obviously now that we are going a lot lower, it used to hit, so had to figure something out. This one I had it already on my other one, my other blue truck, my 72. I liked the way it looked. It worked just fine. So I ordered it again. Let's see if we get the brand. POY. Coolant System Performance. And it's COT02. It's part number. You guys want to check that out. So once it overflows, it has a fill and an overflow. Once it overflows, it's got a little drain down there. So it's a nice piece. It's not very expensive. I think it's like $30 or something. Stainless steel. It's nice. But we're gonna leave this alone for now. Let me show you what we're working on today and what I forgot to do before. Now, my initial plan when I was doing this, I did not have this tank, gas tank, in my plan, because the tank that's inside the cab is actually brand new. Somebody had recently replaced it. It's brand new. So I figured, what the heck, just run it. But once I took off the bed and did the C-notch and everything was exposed, I said, man, right now would be a great time to add an aluminum gas tank. And that'll open up different ideas for later on for the interior. As far as we could put speakers back there now. We could put a seat that reclines. So I added that later. Now, with that being said, I never made a hole. If you guys follow me, inside of here, which would give me access to run the fuel lines inside of that notch and then along that frame rail. So this C-notch if you guys remember, go back to the C-notch videos. This C-notch is sitting on here. So just imagine this is in here. So this continues like that. So it's blocked off. There's no way to run through there. Now, if I would have known that I was going to be fishing stuff through there, I would have made me a hole right here and a hole right there and be able to fish stuff through. So that's where I'm at right now. That's the small dilemma that I'm at. So I don't have anything that could fit in there as far as like a drill or something. I'm sure there's different ways of. This is not very thick, so it shouldn't be too hard. Like if you had something that would get up in there. The only thing that I have that I know would work, which will be a little bit sloppy, but I think it'll work, is my mini torch. Now, that thing's been stored away for a long time. I haven't used it probably like in, man, I don't know, 3-4 years. But it still has oxygen settling in it. But the hose is rotted out. Sorry for the wind. This is the only way I could work out here is I had to whip me out something. So I got a cooler, threw it on the pallet with some wheels, and I just got the water hose running water to it, and that actually blows pretty nice. So it's actually workable. So man, I wish I would have thought of that earlier. I would have been waiting so long to work out here, but it's all right. Sometimes ideas come a little bit later than what you plan on it, but it's all good. Now I had to go to my local Harbor Freight and pick me up a new hose, just a small one, 25 footer. So we'll take this one off. This hose is super old. I think somebody actually let me have this. So this was not even mine to begin with. Somebody gave it to me. I don't know how old it is. Probably, if I had to guess, probably 10 years. So we'll be switching that out. My plan is to stick this guy in here upside down and blow the nicest possible hole I can to be able to feed. Now that I have this tacked on here, I didn't even think of that either. I just tacked it here because I like the way it looked right here, but that's another thing. This cable needs to go all the way to the front of the cab, and I don't want it to be on the side of the, I don't want it to be like out here, which, I mean, you could, I was trying to figure out other ways of doing it without having to bust out the torch. Just because of this other side, the hoses and stuff, I'll have to remove these hoses and then possibly find something that I can kind of cover this stuff with so the slag doesn't go down there and damage my bag, It's the only reason I didn't want to use the torch, but hopefully everything goes good. I mean, what's the worst that can happen, right? Well, there's a lot of things that can happen, but we're praying that it won't. We'll do everything nice and slow. Like I said, that hole doesn't have to be pretty, but it does have to be big enough to run a power cable, the fuel line. Oh, and I need to put one on this side too. Now that I think about it, because we need to run the lights, cables for the lights. And I think thing actually has a plug at the end, if I remember right. Here it is right here actually. Yeah, so that whole plug needs to run through these rails. My blue truck actually had them right here on the side, and I guess it didn't look too bad, you know, but since I'm the one that's putting this one together from the get-go, they just try to do it right. So I'll set you guys down for a minute. I'm gonna install that guy in here, connect it to my torch, and hopefully blow a nice hole in here. I'll probably start with this one. Just blow a nice little hole, blow a hole, and if everything works out good and it looks like it'll work just fine, I'll just handle this side, handle that side. You know, and that's only to install this tank, because I can always just move this battery up to the front of it right here and not have to worry about it. But this is a very nice tank, so I think it's worth making these holes. I just hope nothing gets too crazy. So that's where we're at. Let's do it. All right, new hose. Put some stands in the frame. I don't think anything should go anywhere. Everything's still tied in. I do have a level on this thing. If I even see it even tweaking even a little bit, running these holes ain't worth messing up all this work. But there's there's always other ways, but hopefully this works out. I think I'm just gonna treat it as if it was a weld. Do this hole, then do the opposite one, and come over here, do this one, then do the other one. Kind of distribute the heat instead of just trying to knock out all one side. Because I'm sure once I blow this hole, that tube is gonna get full of heat, and it's gonna get hot. So there goes nothing. Not very much in those little tanks, so hopefully it's enough to make 4 holes. All right. That wasn't so bad. So I think it's gonna work. Let me knock out the rest of these, and hopefully we'll have 4 holes, and we'll start figuring out how we're gonna run these gas line and should have blew this floor first. The fuel line and the power to the alternator from the battery. Then we can start connecting some power. We need power to run the air management, so I think we're just about there. And this has pushed me into getting that part done, so let's do it. I have no idea why that was so scary, but look at this crazy air. We got our 4 holes. Man, Level still looks good. I have no idea how the holes look. They probably look crazy. I'm not exactly wearing the proper clothing to do this. I wasn't really not planning on using a torch on this thing, but I think it was the best way. Let's go ahead and shut these tanks off. Man, that air blows good. Sorry if it sucks for your guys' audio. But let me turn this around. Maybe I'll stick the phone in there and we'll check what it looks like. Ugh. Frame's still a little hot. Let me see if I turn the flashlight on. Let's see. Well, it's not the worst hole. I think we could fit something through there. That should be okay. I don't think the other ones are any better, but let's see. Ooh, that one's a little rough. But that one's bigger, which is what I needed because we need to fit a couple things through there. But since those holes are not that great, I'm definitely gonna have to sleeve whatever I fish through there. Or maybe I could just sleeve the section where the hole is at. You know, maybe an inch either way, and then feed through that. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. We'll try to find something. What do I have? Gotta find something. Maybe a piece of radiator hose. Let me go look around, see what I can find. So, looked around, couldn't really find anything that I think would actually work. But I think what I'm gonna end up doing is, the hose did work. I put some air in the bag, so now we're elevated. I'll show you guys here in a second. I ended up feeding the cables for the tail lights through just on its own. It wasn't too hard. The hole on the back end was a little tight, but I was able to grab on it with some pliers, some needle nose pliers, and kind of pull it through. So that worked out. But here's a little tip for you guys that I found out that might help you guys here in the future if you guys are doing short bait conversions. Like you guys know, this truck was already shortened when I bought it. And I'm glad that they didn't do this. I'm not sure if they did it on purpose or maybe they didn't get that far, but I'm glad they didn't. Let me turn this around. As you can see, this is our tail light harness. So we are running through the chassis now. So that's awesome. That's exactly what I wanted. That's gonna clean that all the way up. So what I was thinking about is maybe putting some of that wire loom stuff and then kind of forcing it through the hole, just a section, you know, just where it's not rubbing on that cut, and then over there just cover that whole piece so it looks nice. But this stuff's old. I mean, it's probably original. It's all dirty, so all this stuff will just get covered up. But the main thing is to cover it is right there so it won't get cut on that hole. But this is what I was gonna mention to you guys is this harness. This harness was from a long bed. The truck used to be a long bed. So this harness was way too long. So under the truck, there was a big knot. They had tied this thing together and just kind of zip tied it to the frame. So there was a bunch of slack on that. If you can imagine, I mean, once these beds get shortened, what is it? 12 inches in the rear, 8 in the center, or something like that. I'm just going off of top of my head, but you get my point. So this thing is that much too long. But since we did the monster notch, which is pretty cool, we did the monster notch, so we actually added this much to the frame. If you would imagine this section of the frame being flat, this would actually probably be the same length or close to the same length as when this thing used to be a long bed. So what I did is I actually unraveled the whole thing that was under the truck and fed it through the notch, and we're like right at the end of the frame. So that worked out perfect. So if you're gonna do a monster notch and you're gonna do a short bed conversion, don't cut this. I have seen other videos where they do like the baby notch, and you know, this thing is like, it's way too long, you know, so they do chop it, resolder it, make it look factory. But for you guys doing short bed air rides with the monster notch, that thing ends up perfect. So don't mess with it. That's just a little tip right there. But now what I have to do is I need to feed through this side, and the cable that I'm going to be using is this monster cable. This is what I'm going to be using for the power supply. It's 1/0. So that's definitely not going to bend through that. I'm going to end up feeding it through there, and it's going to get stuck right here, and it's not going to go down. So I've seen people do this at my job back when I was out in the oil fields. I used to see the electricians feed wire through pipes and then pop out of somewhere else, and stuff like that. So I used to see them do this little trick, and I figured, why wouldn't it work right here? The only thing that I'm assuming, this just from the top of my head, is because that cut is kind of jagged, whatever I feed through there might get stuck. But as long as whatever goes through there, I can tie it to something else that's like thicker but still bendable. I could just switch over for something thicker that I could eventually tie to that and physically pull it and make it bend. So what I was thinking is, what would be the best thing for me to start with? And I was thinking maybe a string. I didn't really have anything that I could find. Another thing I was thinking was like maybe a ribbon. I think a ribbon would work. And as I was looking for a ribbon, I came across this. It's just it's a bag left over from the fireworks, 4th of July. Happy 4th of July to everybody that's out there. Hope you guys had a good one. This is the bag that used to hold the Roman candles. I just tied them together. Now a bag should be able to get sucked through this thing like pretty fast. And since it's pretty long and skinny, and I try to pull on it, and if you pull on it, it won't really rip. If it does, then it was a good try and it didn't work. But if it does work, all I need to do is just go from here to here and then stop. And then I'll tie something to this and pull that through. And then, so this thing just has to make it through one time. So I busted out my vacuum, and we're going to try this out. I am going to turn down the volume for you guys. I know this is going to get kind of crazy, loud. But we're going to see if this works. If it does, awesome. And if it doesn't, I'll continue looking for another solution. But this might work. Let's check it. Let's try it out. got it. Hey. There it is. Now let's just hope that the bag doesn't rip when I pull the other thing through, but it shouldn't rip. I'll just go real slow. I think what I'm gonna use is like a speaker wire. I think like a speaker wire might be good. Let me look through my junk. I'll be right back. Alright, so this is what I found. Not sure what kind of wire it is, but I did get this from my dad. Not even sure when or for what. I got my face all dirty. Just saw that. Oh well. I've actually seen him use this before to fish wires through the wall. So I know it's plenty strong. I'm not sure what it's for, honestly, and I don't even know what gauge it is, or I'm not an electrician, but I know it's kind of thick and it looks pretty strong. That's all I know. It does have strands in there, so I don't know if that means anything to you guys. Where you guys at? Somewhere. So it does have strands in there. I'm gonna tape this to that, feed this through, then tie this to our power cable, and we'll start feeding it through. And I have to look through my boxes and find the fuel line, and we'll fish that through also. So, are you back? Get set up for that. All right, so I'll pull this nice and slow, and hope I don't rip that bag. Yeah, that's not gonna work. I need something that's a little bit more pliable than this. So this is getting stuck. Let me see if I can find a rope. I'll feed the rope through and then see if I can tie the rope to this. Try again. So this wasn't my first idea to use this rope, because I kind of feel like this is gonna get stuck on that torch cut, but I gotta get something that's stronger than this bag through here, or this bag rips on me. Oh, there it went. Cool. Nice. Now I feel better. Now I should be able to tie that wire. Well, you know what? I could use this. It didn't get stuck too bad. I should be able to pull whatever with this thing. I already got it in there, so I'm gonna try to tie that power cord to this thing. Man, wish I would have thought about this before, see? But it's all right. It's all right. No problems, only solutions. All right, I was able to find my fuel line that I'm going to be using. So I got the fuel line taped up to the my power cable, just so this is braided line, so I kind of feel it's going to be getting stuck on the cut, so this might help it go through, but this is also keeping it from bending. So I don't know, we'll give it a shot. Maybe it's easier just to do one at a time, but I figured if I get it through and I get both of them, then I'll call it good. So let's give it a shot. Kind of hard to see what you're doing. You can't see. Just get started. Okay. That was nothing. Now it's all stuck. Stuck on something. I have a feeling it's stuck right here at that. Sorry. Right here at that turn. Most of it's in there though. I didn't want to face my back to you guys, so I'll do it on that side, but I think I need to be right here. Kind of feed it as I pull. So might be in your way for a little bit. Hopefully when I come back, it might be all the way through. Let me give this a shot real quick, guys. Yep. So that was definitely it. Once I got in here, I kind of fed as I pulled from the other side, and we're through. We're on the other side. Check this out. So I think when I got off with you guys, what was happening is it was actually stuck on the exit, and it just wasn't going. So what I did is I pulled it back the other way, like back this way, and started pulling again, and then I felt it kind of like go in and shot straight through. So that'll work, man. I'll take that as a win. All day long, I'll take that as a win. All right, that's way more than enough right there. So I think, see, I can see this cable got kind of messed up as it was going through that hole, but I think I'll cut this tape off. You know, this was just to kind of help it go through, but and then I'll get like a protection, something or other. I'm thinking maybe like a rubber hose, maybe, and then I'll feed it through that hole and have like a section right where that hole is at. So this would be actually going through that rubber hose instead of potentially rubbing on back and forth on that hole. So think that's it for today, man. It's a little bit, well, it's a lot of bit hot. I think we're clocked in right now. I think it's 1:12. Sun's about to go down. It's about 6 o'clock. And sorry I couldn't get more done, but we have, kind of hard to even talk. Need some water. But we got the wires. We got the wires ran for the tail lights. So that's definitely something that we needed. Sorry, I don't want to disrespect you guys. It just gets kind of bright out here. We got the wires for the tail lights. We got fuel line through the rail, power cord through the rail. I think off camera, maybe later on tonight, if it cools down any, I'll throw some end connectors on that power cord, and I don't think I'll tie it to the battery. I mean, there's no need. We're nowhere near that, but we'll at least have those ends on there. We do have a fuel line back here now, so I think next time I come back here with you guys, we'll install that tank. We'll connect the fuel line. What else? The fuel sending unit and all that stuff. I'll put all that stuff all at once. What else? I think we're gonna start tearing apart the bed. Yeah, I think if we get that tank in there, then we could take off the fenders. I'll measure the bed out to cut it. I'll show you guys how to do that. How to make it fit like exactly where you want it. You know, not no rough cut. You know, something nice, something presentable. What else? I think that's it. If we do end up connecting that tank, then what I'll do is I'll remove that. I'll remove the seat, and we'll take that tank out. And since we already got the seat out, maybe we could stop by the upholstery guy and see what his time frame is like right now. The car show is September 21st. I do officially have the flyer. What else? I'll post up the flyer at the end of this video, probably at the end of every video from here to the show. Give everybody an opportunity to see if they can go. If you're in the California area or wherever you're from, the show will be in Bakersfield, California. That's Bakersfield, California, area code 661, zip code 93308. Just to kind of give you an idea of where it is. You could Google it. You know, how far is that from your house? This truck will be there one way or another, whether I take it driving or I drop it off in a trailer. But the truck will be there. And for everybody that's been following the build since the very beginning, thank you guys for coming back. For you new guys, there's a lot more to go, man, in a short period of time. So I am going to be pushing hard, and hope you guys like what you see so far, man. See you guys on the flip side.